Joey, a pretty ironic comment today. It went a little not viral, but KIJHL viral.
Yeah, the sniper had something to say about it.
Sniper had something to say about it. Do you want to fill everyone in on just what happened there, and maybe tell everyone a little bit about the comments and then the eventual outcome and everything that happened?
So if you've ever played in Kamloops and you've been either scratched or you watch the broadcast, they like to they do a decent job actually at broadcasting, but they like to do like some interviews in between the intermissions and stuff. A couple of the Revelstoke got like they'll even bring guys on from like the opposite team. Like we had a couple guys scratched one time, and they went and had like a talk with the announcer or whatever.
Okay.
And so yeah, so they like to pull guys and just do some interviews mid game. So what they ended up doing was they brought in this guy named Lachlan Stephanation, who a lot of people don't know this actually. He was signed in Revelstoke.
Oh wow.
His 18-year-old year apparently. And then decided, oh no, I want to go play Kamloops, whatever. So I played against. He's actually a really good hockey player. Like I think he's really solid.
I
I don't
checked
know
his
why he
numbers and
was
they look
out.
good.
I don't know why he was even out.
I heard broken collarbone.
Um, oh, okay, so
I
that
don't
makes
know if
sense
that's
being
true, but
injured. Um, but yeah, he was out, and he had some comments to make uh about Revelstoke and how I think he said that they were up 2-0 at the time, and they're like he was like, yeah, they look soft, and I was like, like that's not good.
uh-oh.
So I don't know if the boys saw that in the intermission or something, or if they heard about it during the game or whatever. Because the final score after that, after he said that, the Grizz scored 7 unanswered and blew Kamloops out of the water 7-2. Yeah. So I
Dude,
don't know if yeah.
when I saw that video pop up in my feed and I just saw the first comments like, "Oh no. Oh
That
no." Like people being like would hate to be him in court this week and shit like that. And
was
it
so funny, man.
it was pretty funny to see what everyone was saying about it. And then I mean, like you said, they were up 2-0 at the time, and he was saying that, Kamloops needs to keep chucking the body and Revelstoke looks soft, and then Revy comes out and pops seven.
They put 7 past him. I'm like, oh my god, this guy couldn't have had more satisfying outcome
No kidding,
after that
man.
interview. Like that was like, oh my gosh, that's like instant karma.
Did you talk to
Just
any of the boys
instant.
in Revy about it?
No, I actually haven't. I didn't even bring it
No.
up. They definitely heard about it though. Like,
Oh
there's no
yeah.
way that because like they went and go like obviously when you're done the game, you go and refresh your phone or whatever on the bus or whatever.
Yeah.
After the game, and they'll see the sniper posting about it, and then um they'll have seen the clip. So if I can't wait. The New Year's game actually is Kamloops Revy.
Oh,
Um,
hopefully, yeah, that guy's back
I
then.
hope he's back by then, and I hope that
Oh.
yeah, it's gonna be. I hope it's gonna be a good time. Um, I think I don't know. Broken collarbone, depending on how long he's been out, potentially could be back.
I think he'll probably be back for then, dude. He should be back for then. So, I mean, pretty bold comments to say when you're out with an injury and you haven't
I
played
mean,
against Revelstoke yet,
yeah,
but he'll be coming back. And like you said, he's a good player, so he has a chance to walk the walk. But we'll
yeah,
see
he's
what
got to back
happens.
it up a little bit, especially with a historical rivalry such as Kamloops. We always meet them in the first round or second round of playoffs.
Yeah,
Um, every year, my when we played against them, so there's been a bit of a some bad blood there, and it's only kind of like
fuel to the
boosting it up
fire.
a little bit. It's gonna be a good watch.
Yeah, buddy. I'm pumped. I'm pumped to see what happens on that New Year's game. Hopefully, he's playing, and if not, I'm excited to see what happens the next time he plays against
I'll keep
Revelstoke.
you updated.
Thanks,
I'll
buddy.
keep you updated.
Sounds good.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the 13th episode of the Jungle Hockey Podcast, presented by the Hockey Podcast Network. I'm here with my co-host, Mr. Owen Elson. How are we doing?
We're doing good, Joey. I'm excited to get into some NHL previews and recap some junior leagues today.
Yeah, I'm a little sick. I'm not feeling 100% right now, so I think I don't know if you guys can tell my voice is a little bit fucked up, but if you hear me sniffling and coughing in the in or throughout the episode, just sorry. Or Owen will probably be editing that out.
Midterm season 2, Joey's an absolute warrior right now. So pushing through it. He'll battle. Right, Joe?
I actually battled through my stats midterm last week. I got 90.
90?
Pretty solid. Pretty
Oh, dude.
solid. Yeah.
That's done. You don't even have to do
Academic
any work
nothing.
for the
So
rest
I'm
of the year.
yeah, exactly. I'll be passing that class no matter what now. So I'll be chilling and I think it was actually an 88. I shouldn't embellish. I
Whatever,
should
whatever,
round
man.
up.
That's
I was
okay.
rounding up
Thanks for
there,
being
but
honest.
um yeah. So I got to get the accounting one back, and then hopefully we're good to go.
Yeah, buddy. Well, sounds good. Well, I think we'll basically just get right into it here. Obviously, the NHL, the official opening night is tonight. St. Louis
Yeah.
and Seattle. We're recording this on Tuesday night, so St. Louis and Seattle already played. St. Louis took that one 3-2. Philip Broberg and Dylan Holloway both had a point, by the way. And then I believe Boston is playing right now against the Florida
The boys
Panthers.
had the game
Florida,
on. The boys had
sorry.
the game on during practice today. Like the guys that were injured were sitting on the
Oh yeah,
bench. Yeah, they were
yeah,
watching it, and I was like, so we got 3 goalies we cycle through in practice. So
yeah.
every time I was off, I was over there watching the game. So I was actually
Nice.
surprised they were playing so early.
Yeah, it was an early game. It was weird. And then I mean, even Boston, Florida started pretty early. 2-0 Florida early on in that one. Not the best start for Joonas Korpisalo, but the shots are 15-3 Florida right now. So he's actually been okay. And then we also got
Yeah.
Chicago and Utah playing tonight, Utah's first ever game. But besides that, we're going to obviously try and catch up with these previews a bit now that the season's going. We already did the Buffalo Sabres last week because, like we mentioned, they started off their season against New Jersey in Prague. Joe, let's recap that quickly? Actually, did you catch any of the games?
I think
Hmm?
they went over, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. Yeah, New Jersey. New Jersey took both of those games to
Yeah,
open
they
the season up in Prague. They won the first game 4-1. Paul Cotter goal and an assist. Not a big deal. We were chatting about him, my ironic favorite player in the league.
yeah. Markstrom looks good.
Yeah, Markstrom was great. Allen actually started the second game and played quite well. And Paul Cotter with a goal in the second game again. And in the second game, the big boys for the Devils stepped up. Timo Meyer had a goal, Jack Hughes a couple apples, and Seamus Casey scored his first NHL goal. Joey, keep an eye on him. He's going to be a nasty, nasty defenseman for the Devils in the future here.
Never heard of him.
He was. If he wasn't a first round pick, he was at least a second, like 2 years
Oh,
ago, and
okay.
he's been dominating in college. So he's going
Oh,
to be
okay.
a stud for them. He's not quite Nemec Hughes level, but he's right up there, man. But did you
Yeah,
catch
fair enough.
any much of the games? I mean, Buffalo going 0 for 2. What do you think about that?
No, I'm not gonna lie. We left for we playing in Omaha this weekend. So we were in Omaha, Nebraska, and we had like an 8-hour bus trip.
Yeah,
And I got up for the perfect time to watch the game because we had to get on the bus.
yeah,
But I was
right.
just so tired. I was so tired. Uh, and so I just slept on the bus, and I slept through the game, so I didn't actually get a chance to watch it.
Yeah, fair
And
enough.
then
That's
we
all.
had our regular game day routine, so I didn't really watch any TV. So I didn't get a chance to watch the game, but I saw the Markstrom save. It was pretty sick with like the
Yeah,
behind the back
save of the
battle.
year candidate right away.
Yeah, first
Also
game.
in the goal for when it comes to goalies, Devin Levi actually had a great first game in that 3-1 loss. Just an unfortunate result by the team, but he played very well himself. Or sorry, in the second game. Sorry, that was Levi. Luukkonen played the first game and he was okay. So I
Yeah,
mean, obviously New Jersey starting off kind of how I expected. Buffalo not looking great to start.
yeah.
But we'll get into it with our previews here, Joey. You want to lead us off with our second team, technically after Buffalo?
The Bees, the Boston Bruins,
Um,
or is it?
yes. No, no, yeah,
Is
because
that it? Yeah.
Boston technically should be first, but we did Buffalo, so yeah,
We
Boston.
did Buffalo first. Yeah, okay. Or no, Boston, top of the order here. Austin Willie's favorite team.
Oh yeah,
I was actually chirping him earlier this week because I didn't think Swayman was gonna resign, and then the moment Swayman re-signed, Oz sent me a video of him singing in the shower, um, telling me some things that I probably shouldn't say on the podcast. So, yeah, he was pretty happy with that. So, but yeah, the guys that they acquired, they signed some big deals this summer. Like so
Mhm.
they signed Elias Lindholm and Nikita Zadorov to 7 and 6 year extension or contracts as both as free agents. They acquired Corpusalo in the trade. I think was it in the Allmark trade? I'm
Yeah,
90% sure.
yeah, it was, yeah.
Um, and then a couple other smaller signings: Mark Kastelik, Brandon Bussy, and Max Jones. But they actually just waived Bussy, like the goalie.
Yeah,
There's
I
no
saw
back.
they waived him. But I've heard really good things about him. I thought he was a guy like
Oh,
I
he's
didn't expect
solid,
to see
man.
him on waivers.
He's right-handed like me. I actually bought his pro stock glove because I needed a glove to get through the year.
Yeah,
I was using Brandon Bussy's pro stock glove when we won last year. So maybe that was good
that's
luck. I don't
insane.
know. Yeah, maybe it
That's
was good
pretty
luck,
funny.
um but yeah, now then so we move on to their losses. Jake DeBrusk signs a 7 year with Vancouver, who I think is going to do great, by the way, when we get to Vancouver.
Yeah, I
As
agree.
well as Danton Heinen, Vancouver and Boston made a couple swaps here.
Yeah, I know. Well,
Um,
Richmond, by the way, Richmond Sockeyes alumni, Danton Heinen,
yeah, Danton
PJHL,
Heinen, yeah,
former PJHL player. Just wanted to throw that in there. We probably missed a few other ones too that are former Pidge or KI guys,
yeah.
but we'll try and get them if we
Linus
can.
Linus Allmark also a looked really good in for Ottawa. Um, Grizzlick signed with Pittsburgh. Derek Forbert signed with Vancouver as well, and then Pat Maroon signed with Chicago. Um, what do you think about these guys, Owen?
Um, I mean, I think they overpaid Zadorov. I think they overpaid
Yeah,
Lindholm. I think Corpusalo will do fine in that role. Like Boston's got a pretty solid decor, and I think Jim Montgomery's an amazing coach, and they play a good system. So I think Zador, even though those guys might have got too much money or too long term, they'll fit into the system well. But Boston's just not a team that I think can get it done anymore. I think they're going to be
yeah,
mid first, like good, but mid kind of good, mid like good, but not a contender for a long time now. DeBrusque, that loss doesn't hurt too bad when they bring in Lindholm, but I mean, Heinen was a great depth piece for them last year. I think he was on one of their top power play units, even though he was a depth player, 20 goals. They lose, big rig Pat Maroon, not much of a loss in my eyes, but they lose him, and not mentioned on here is that they also lose Milan Lucic, which bit of a messed up situation with him last year at the start of the year. So
yeah,
but my point being is they lost a lot of size in the bottom six, and I'm not usually a guy who thinks that size makes much of a difference in the National Hockey League. I think players like Stankoven and DeBrincat and guys like that prove teams wrong every year that that doesn't really matter. It's a lot more about the player. So
yeah.
I think Boston, I think they'll make the playoffs. Probably not easily, but again, you never know. Like Monty's such a good coach, and they play such a good system. They still have the pieces. Marchand is also starting the season hurt, I believe. He had a
Oh,
lot of
okay.
surgeries in the off season. Went through a lot. So not sure if he'll be the same when he's back either. But as far as Boston, like yeah, my expectations for them kind of the same as last year. Like maybe they
Not.
get through the first round, but they're not winning anything.
I think they got a little bit better. I don't think they
Yeah,
got worse. Um, I see them coming. I see them maybe maybe third in the Atlantic, fourth, so we get in the
I
playoffs
can see
type
that.
thing.
I can see that.
But I think the Atlantic's going to have the 5 spots. Like I think the Atlantic is way better than the Metro, as we talked
Right.
about last time. So I think they get in the playoffs. Um, Swayman is a huge.
I was just gonna say we need to talk about Swayman because
Yeah, I was just going to
deal
go into
got
that.
sorted yesterday. So sorry, you take it.
Yeah, Swayman is a huge ad. Like he's one of my favorite goalies in the league. I think like just how
He's one of the
solid he
best.
is and how he moves. He's one of the best. And if he can keep it his numbers the same way that they were trending and the way they've gone, pretty solid. Pretty solid sign. They did pay quite a bit for him for a guy who's
Eight
never
eight
been a
by eight
starter.
point 25.
Yeah, for a guy who's never been a starter before, he's getting quite the payday. But um, yeah, I don't know. I'm interested. I'm interested to watch Boston this year, mostly so I can chirp Oz when they lose, but also so just to see how well like Zadorov and Lindholm do because they're obviously they're ex Canucks,
Mm-hmm.
and to see what if they can maybe make a splash in the playoffs, maybe third in the Atlantic. I don't know.
We'll see. But yeah, I mean that Swayman signing obviously huge. I can't believe they got it done after Neely's comments, basically trying to turn the
Yeah,
whole fan base on him. Like that's such a
they gave
scumbag
him
move. What a
66.
terrible. I don't even know what Neely's position is there, but he sucks at it. And I don't think Don Sweeney's a great GM either. But anything else for the bees, Joey, or should we move on to Detroit?
No, I think let's head over to Detroit. Patty Kane. Um, yeah, man. I've always been a Patrick Kane fan. I'm not gonna lie.
Obviously.
And him and Tarasenko on the same team seems like it would be so good about 5 years ago. But yeah, now it's like I don't know. I don't know what to expect. But yeah, so they signed Kane and Tarasenko. Eric Gustafson is also Mo Sider got a 7-year deal. Lucas Raymond got an 8-year deal, and Cam Talbot in net for a 2-year contract. They lose Wallman to San Jose. They lose Gostisbehere to Carolina. They lose David Perron to Ottawa. They lose Daniel Sprong, he's going to be so underrated for Vancouver.
So underrated.
James Reimer, who actually just got put on waivers
He got
by
claimed.
Buffalo. Um,
I don't
yeah,
remember who claimed him, but he got claimed too.
he got claimed somewhere, and then Robbie Fabry got traded to Anaheim there. Look at that top six, man.
Yeah,
Like
it's a good top six.
I think it's really solid.
Mm-hmm.
Um, their top pair is good. Ben Sherratt is
And Sherrod's the worst team out in the NHL.
really? You don't like
Like
him?
bottom 10, like one of the worst
Really?
defensemen in the NHL. He is
That guy eats
horrible.
pucks for me in fantasy.
They have been like putting him on a pair with Mo Sider is basically like they're torturing Sider, torturing him. But sorry, go on, man.
I think I like Mo Sider. I took him in fantasy, and I also took Sherratt in fantasy as well. They put up points, but I guess if you're saying that he's shit. But um, I like Talbot. I like the Talbot signing in net.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I like their top six forwards, but it's just not a playoff team for me.
I'm so with you there. I like their top six, but I think Stevie Y has really proved over the last 3 years what a brutal GM he is. He's drafted probably the worst player available with his last 3 first round picks. You know, re-signing Patrick Kane's good. Tarasenko replaces Perron. I'd way rather have Perron. How can you not keep Daniel Sprong? I don't know. Like he's making what 925K for Vancouver. Trading Fabry, I mean, whatever. Like it's kind of random. I do like the Talbot signing. The Raymond and Sider deals, both I think were good deals, good extensions. That's one thing that Steve Eiserman's been pretty good with. The Larkin deal was good as well. Like I think he signed some decent extensions for with his core pieces. Gustafson's a good add too. Um, but I think they have honestly the worst 1 to 6 core in the NHL. Like unless Simon Edmondson becomes an all-star this year, it's the worst 1 to 6 by a mile. After Sider, like I guess Gustafson's okay, but trading Jake Wallman was just an absolute bonehead move. They dumped like it was a cap dump, and he's a very good player. Like Wallman is super
Yeah,
underrated. He's a top 4 D man on most teams. So
they got
that
Justin Hall though.
no, they put him on waivers today.
Oh,
Or
never mind.
yesterday. Yeah, Hall's on waivers too. And then yeah, I Perron, like that's a bigger loss, and I think a lot of people realize that guy has so much experience. He's been around for so long. He still produces. He's a leader. He's tough, physical. I'm a big fan of his game. And then Shane Gostisbehere basically carried their back end last year when it came to offense. Like he was so good on the power play. And like hopefully Sider can get a bigger role, like two-way role. But if they keep playing him with Sherratt, there's nothing he's going to be able to do.
Yeah,
Not a playoff team.
not a playoff team.
No, I got nothing
Um,
else. I rip them pretty good.
I think that's
Not
pretty. I think that's pretty solid. I think it's you've given your piece on why Stevie Y is a joke. You want to move on to the Stanley Cup champions?
Let's do it, buddy. Get us into it.
Okay. All right. Oh, I forgot they signed Sam Reinhart to a huge deal.
Yes, sir.
8-year contract for him. Thomas Nosek gets a 1-year deal in Florida. Kulikov signs 4 years. Forsling 8 years. Bodqvist gets a year deal. Nate Schmidt gets a year deal. They lose Brandon Montour to Seattle. They lose OEL to Toronto. They lose Anthony Stolars to Toronto as well. Ryan Lomberg signs a 2-year deal with Calgary. Stenlund and Tarasenko both leave. Stenlund to Utah and Tarasenko to Detroit. We were talking about this today, actually. Their group is not as good as I thought it was. Hey?
Yeah, they definitely like they lost more than it seems like on the surface.
Yeah.
I don't think their forward core is that great, but their power play is so good.
Yeah, it's really good.
But I
They
mean,
have a whole bunch
even
of
with that,
super
there's
underrated defensemen too.
yeah. So I think that's something that Bill Zito has been. He's the GM there. If anyone didn't know, has been
Yeah.
unbelievable. At is he brought in Forsling off waivers. Forsling's now one of the best two-way defensemen in the NHL. His defensive game's super underrated, and he's probably going to get 50 points. And then
Yeah.
you bring in, I mean, Montour. I think we talked about this the other day. Like he was like fourth or fifth defenseman, and now he's making 7.5 million a year in Seattle. Like Florida's taken some meh defensemen and really turned them around. Even OEL last year, like he was brutal in Vancouver, and he turned
Oh,
it.
terrible in Vancouver.
He was really good for Florida last year, both ways,
Yeah.
two-way defenseman. Like he put up points too. So I think Boakfist and Schmidt are guys who can really fill in. Schmidt for Ekman Larson and Boakfist for Montour. Apparently, Boakfist has looked unreal in camp.
Really?
They also
Which
brought in
one,
his
the D man or
brother,
the forward?
the D man, Adam.
D man.
But they also
Yeah.
brought in his brother Jesper to play a depth role up front. I mean, Reinhardt probably not going to replicate what he did last year. A little overpaid, but again, that power play. Nosek, that's a good depth signing. Kulikov, he was there last year. Good depth guy. Pretty underrated in my opinion as well. So good defensively. And then they lose some depth forwards, Tarasenko as well, but realistically, most of his team's back. They're going to be a contender, even though that forward core might not look amazing. They have a style of hockey and an identity that I think a lot of teams have trouble keeping up with. And as long as their top dogs continue to do what they do best, and injuries could kill this team too. If they lose a few of those
That's
big
true.
guys,
Yeah.
they don't have the depth to make up for it. So I think Florida realistically is a cup contender again. Regular season might be a little tough on them. Like I don't think they're going to win the division, but play cup contender when it comes down to it. Anything else for these guys here, buddy?
I'd say I'd agree with you, cup contender. I just find it hard. I wouldn't bet on them going back to back. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, yeah, I think that's fine. I mean, they've been to the finals 2 years in a row too. Like that experience is valuable, but at the same time, it's so hard to do 3 times
They've
in a
been,
row, like Tampa did.
yeah,
But
I was gonna say they've been, they're worn out. They might be they might have a fallback year because of how worn out they are. They've gone the distance 2 years in a row.
yeah,
So,
yeah, totally. Yeah, buddy.
we
I'm
move
good
on
there.
to Montreal here. Okay. Oh, sorry, I'm on the roster here.
No, you're good, buddy.
Slavkovsky gets his big 8-year deal. Patrick Laine, a huge acquisition in the summer as well, who just got hurt.
Out
Um,
2 to 3 months, unfortunately.
yeah, it's really sad, but he'll be back. I think that's honestly best case scenario because he'll be
It,
back.
it was. People thought it was
Yeah,
year ending. So
yeah. Xhaka gets a 2-year deal. Um, Justin Barron, the D-man, also gets a 2-year deal. Caden Gooley signs a 6-year contract. And Alex Barre-Boulet gets a 1-year deal.
probably Goulet.
The French
Looks
guys,
French.
I don't know.
You're good.
Chris Weidman retired. Oh no. Uh, Jonathan Kovacevic got traded to New Jersey. Mitchell Stevens signed a 2-year contract with Seattle. Jesse Leonin signs a 1-year with Tampa Bay. Jordan Harris got traded to Columbus, and Tanner Pearson was a free agent. So not too many losses there for Montreal. I think this team's on the up, man. I love their prospect pool.
Totally. Dude, I
I
cannot wait to watch Ivan Demidov in the NHL. Oh my god, have you
Yeah, I
seen some
cannot
of his
wait.
highlights?
Yeah, he looks so good.
He's lighting the
Um,
KHL up.
that's fucking crazy. But yeah, the
Yeah.
top six is solid, man.
Yeah, man.
Like,
I think once Line is back, obviously that's huge. Like you just want to
yeah,
see that guy like healthy, happy, playing hockey. Slapkovsky, I think that signing was really smart to re-sign him and lock him up. I think that contract's going to age well. I think he's going to end up being a stud. I don't know if he's going to be like a franchise player, but I think he's going to be like a point per game first liner.
yeah,
I believe he had 30 point. He had a long stretch of point per game hockey last year. Don't remember when, but the Jack Guy re-signing, whatever. He's depth, and he's been running rampant in preseason, killing people. So yeah, he seems like a good guy. He's an awesome story coming up. His brother Florian, a Montreal pick too. Justin
Yeah.
Barron, that's good that they re-signed him. Good young D-man. Caden Gooley, people, might think that he was a little overpaid, but they obviously love what they see from him, and he's got a lot of room to develop. At worst case, he's going to be a great defensive D-man. And then, yeah, Baraboulet, just a depth pickup. Like you said, no big losses at all. I mean, Jordan Harris is a good young D-man, but that was necessary for Line A. Besides that, they just lose depth pieces. Nobody that's going to really impact the team.
Yeah.
Um, what do you think about their goaltending situation with Sam Montembeault?
I actually like Primo. I think Primo is a good goaltending prospect.
Okay.
Montembeault is very. I feel like every once in a while I see him let in 7, and it's just like, what the fuck happened?
But Montreal's D is so bad, dude. Like I feel like
Yeah,
Montembeault is
that's
actually
true.
really underrated.
I think Montembeault. Yeah, he's really. That's true. He's really solid. I think he can be somewhat inconsistent at times. Is what I was getting at. That's what I was trying to say.
Yeah,
Um,
no, that's fair. That's fair.
he. I think honestly, do you think their D got better, or do you think they're? Do
Yeah, I mean, like they didn't really bring anybody in, but I think
you
just
think they
with a
will?
young
I mean,
D
like,
core like this, the age is a good thing, and I think their D is probably better this year just because of that. And
yeah,
Lane
like
Hudson,
Dooley,
Lane Hudson coming in.
Lane
We
Hudson
I
is
didn't mention
huge.
that.
I think honestly, I
Goalie.
think that
How did I not mention
if Montembeau can get rid of those like the crazy score lines every once in a while, he can be really solid. Primu's a solid backup. He's a really good goaltending prospect, like I said. So I think, yeah, I don't mind their goalies at all.
Yeah, I don't think they're like looking bad for the goaltending right now as well as for the future. Like Montembeault can get it done right now, and then I agree with you. I think Primo's a good prospect overall. Like I actually think Montreal might be able to make a push this year and hang around. I love Marty St. Louis coaching, and like they have the top
Yeah, that's
six,
true.
so hopefully their D can take some steps, especially Lane Hudson. I'm so excited to watch that guy this year in the NHL, man. I think he's going to be so good.
Yeah,
But that's all I got for
yeah.
Montreal. I think they'll be in the mix.
Moving on to the capital of Canada, the
Yes,
Ottawa
sir.
Senators. Like I said, they acquired Allmark, and that's going to be huge. We'll get to that though. David Perron, 2-year deal. Nick Jensen was acquired from Washington. Michael Amadio gets a 3-year contract. Nick Cousins got a 1-year contract, and Shane Pinto got a 2-year deal. They lost Corpusalo to Boston. They lost Kaslik to Boston. They traded Chychrun to Washington. Parker Kelly signed a 2-year deal with Colorado. Matthew Jozef got traded to St. Louis, and Eric Brandstrom signed a 1-year deal with Colorado, who just got traded to the Canucks.
Yeah.
Um, these guys are young. I don't. Are they young? Yeah, they're kind of.
Yeah, they're
Here's my thing with Ottawa. They're in a very tough division, and
yeah.
do I think that their forward, their D, their goalie, like Allmark's gonna be big. He's gonna be huge for backstopping the team if he can have a good year. I don't know. Ottawa's in a really tough spot because they're in such a good division, and I don't know if they have the forward depth.
Fair enough, man. I mean, I think Tim Stutzel's going to bounce back this year. Like, I actually think he's a guy who can put up 100 points in this league. Like, I'm super high on Stutzel. Brady
Mhm.
Kachuk, like, he's obvious. Like, everyone knows his game. He's a leader. He's going to get it done no matter what it takes. Claude Giroux, looks like he is injured to start the season. Poor guy also had his car stolen, so that's a tough go. I also like. It looked like they had a bunch of injuries in preseason, but I think that Giroux is the only one that looks like the injury is going to carry over into the season based on what I'm seeing. So that's a plus. I think they got a really good top nine. Like that third line with Perron, Pinto, and Amadio is pretty underrated. Like Pinto's a stud, dude. Like I know, Pinto parlay and all that, but he's a very good young
Yeah.
player. Perron will fit great there. And then I think an issue with this team, like again, not to harp on size and toughness being the most important thing, but that's something that they lacked. And Brady Kachuk's your captain. He can't be fighting everyone every game. He can't be blocking every shot, throwing every hit. Like it's
Yeah.
gonna take a toll on the guy. And I think you might see a guy like Ridley Gregg really grow this year, and because he plays that gritty game too. David Perron plays that gritty game. Nick Cousins is known as the Rat King. He plays that gritty game. Zach
Yeah.
Ostapchuk, who I don't know if you ever played him, but I played against him back in the day a couple times. Another super gritty guy, played for Team Canada at the World Juniors. So I think Ottawa's got a really good forward core. As far as I know, they also have who is it that I'm thinking of? I think Adam Gaudette is also like a backup for them. He lit up the minors last year. Obviously, Vancouver Canucks legend. And then their D core,
Yeah,
dude. I don't like Tyler Clevin. He was a first or second round pick that played at North Dakota. He needs to take some steps. He's kind of just like a big, tall guy who hasn't really put it all together yet.
they
And then
got some size on the back end.
yeah, they got good size and like Sanderson, Shabbat, both great offensive, well, two-way honestly for Sanderson, but Shabbat offensively, and then Jensen coming in to play that defensive role, I think he'll do really well. And then Artem Zub's already great defensively, so I actually really like Ottawa this year. I'm pretty high on them, dude. So another thing with them is injuries have crushed them. Like Josh Norris's injuries over the past couple of years. I think
Yeah.
Batherson's had some injury trouble, so they need to stay healthy. But if they can stay healthy, um, I'm actually pretty high on the team, especially with Olmark there now. Joey, anything else, man?
No, I don't think so. I think you pretty much nailed it there. I don't think they're as good as you think they are, but we'll have to wait and see.
Well, let's get on to this next team because here's where things might get a little controversial. Joey, you want to start?
Oh yeah, Tampa Bay, your favorite GM. Um, okay, acquisition. Okay, Tampa Bay Lightning, of course. Sorry, Jake Gensel signs a 7-year deal. He was acquired from Carolina as well. Ryan McDonough got reacquired from Nashville. Connor Geekie was acquired from Utah. JJ Moser was acquired from Utah and he signed a 2-year deal. Zemgus Girgensons signed a 3-year deal, and Cam Atkinson got a 1-year contract. Some decent losses though. Steven Stamkos, the cornerstone of their franchise, signed a 4-year deal with Nashville. Tanner Jeannot got traded to LA. Mikhail Sergachev got traded to Utah. Matt Dumba signed a 2-year deal with Dallas. Anthony Duclair signed a 4-year deal with New York Islanders, and Tyler Mott also leaves for Detroit. Owen, you want to lead this one, or?
Yeah, sure. I mean, obviously, Gensel is an unbelievable pickup. I think he's going to fit right in on that top line, put up a ton of points. He's going to be great on the power play. But at the cost of Steven Stamkos, it hurts. I think Gensel's better. Obviously, Stamkos is on his back nine, but you can't do that to your captain, franchise legend. Like I don't like it, but that's what makes Brisebois one of the best. He's cutthroat, and he did what he thought was best for the team. And as tough as it is, I understand from an actual hockey perspective, but when it comes to a guy like Stamkos, you have to just like show the loyalty there. I think Brian McDonough was kind of smart to bring him back. I don't like getting rid of Mikhail Sergachev. He's honestly better than Hedman is now, but you also can't get rid of Hedman. He's your captain now.
No, that's right. Yeah.
But like Sergachev's better two-way. Hedman's brutal defensively. And honestly, JJ Moser, hopefully he does well. I'm actually high on his game. He came over from Utah, along with Connor Geekie, who looks like he's going to be on the opening night roster. Cam Atkinson comes over after being bought out. He's probably going to slide in that top six. We'll see how he ends up doing there. And then Gergenson's the Sabres legend comes over in a depth role. I think he'll probably be all right. They get rid of Jeannot's contract. I don't even remember seeing Jeannot get traded, to be completely honest. Duclair, you went over the losses. They're losing a lot of big pieces. This is a pretty different Tampa team than what we've seen. There's been a lot of roster changes for them since they've won their 2 cups. And although I think they're competitive all the way to the end and they might make me look silly, Joe, I don't have them making the playoffs.
I think it depends a lot on if Vasilevsky is as good of a goalie as we think he is.
And healthy. Yeah.
Because their backup is, I don't trust them.
Who is it?
And they don't have a third goalie. They don't really have a third goalie in their system. I don't know, man. I need to go through the rest of the rosters before I can give my Atlantic prediction, because I'd say maybe they come 5th, then they squeak in with the wild card spot.
That's possible, man. I'm 100% with you. It's definitely a possibility, but we'll see when we do our final predictions. You want to get us into our last Atlantic team here?
Yeah, my dad's favorite team, the team I love to watch lose, the Toronto Maple Leafs. They signed Chris Tanev to a 6-year deal from Dallas after they acquired him. They signed OEL, like you said, Ekman Larson, to a 4-year deal. Anthony Stolarz gets a 2-year contract, who might even be the starter this year because of how often Joseph Wool is fucking injured. Max Domi signed a 4-year contract. Nix Robertson got a 1-year deal, and Yanni got a 1-year deal as well. The D-man, I don't know how to say his last name. Hakanpää?
Yeah.
They lose Tyler Bertuzzi to Chicago. They lose TJ Brody to Chicago. They lose Labushkin to Dallas. They lose Joel Edmondson as well, 4-year deal with LA. Samsonov signed a 1-year deal with Vegas, and Noah Gregor signed a 1-year deal with Ottawa. Do you think these guys? Oh wow, their goaltending is just. I don't know, man.
Well,
I think
Joe,
Joseph Wool's good, but is he that good? And can he stay
yeah,
healthy?
I think he is if he's healthy, but that's obviously health is the issue there. Stolarz is a good backup, but yeah, I don't know, man. I was listening to actually Tree Living was on Chicklets the other day, and he was saying that they have a couple other options in the minors, like a young guy. I'm forgetting his name, who looked really good in the for the Marlies last year. So might see some of that this year. I think keeping Domi's was good. I think he's a Leaf. He fits in well there. Keeping Nick Robertson was smart, good depth player. And then basically when you look at the D, Hakanpää comes in for Labushkin. I think Hakanpää's better. Ekman Larson comes in for Edmondson. I think he's better. And Tanev comes in for Brody. And Brody's not bad defensively, but Tanev's as good as it gets when it comes to shutdown D. So their D core, I think, is really, really solid defensively for the first time in a while. I really like the work they did this offseason there. And then forward depth, like you look at guys like Matthew Nyes, Bobby McMahon, Nick Robertson, who I just mentioned, they have the depth there too. So I think Toronto's got a much better looking team than last year. And, this could be the year, maybe Matthews gets 75 goals this year. Do you think that's possible? That'd be sick to see.
75. That's unreal.
69 last year.
That'd be unbelievable if he put up that many goals. I don't know. Mix in an apple or two, buddy. Like, geez, 69 goals and 38 assists. Like, imagine if that guy. Yeah, I don't know.
What do you think about the league?
I love that first line, bro. That's gonna be so fucking to watch. Nyes, Matthews, Marner. If that's if that's what they're gonna go with.
Yeah, hopefully Nyes can take that step.
That would be unbelievable. But yeah, it's just they're very top heavy. They just like Toronto's always been. They're super top heavy, and I don't know if they have the depth. It's all gonna come down to if they have the depth in the which I feel like they have more of this year. Their top 6 is really solid.
Well, another thing that isn't on here, just to address their depth, is they also signed Steven Lorentz and Max Pacioretty from their PTOs. So Lorentz was great for Florida last year, super underrated, and then obviously Pacioretty, veteran leadership, and he can score. Hopefully, he's healthy and he can be better than he was last year. But I don't think their depth's going to be an issue this year. I think
I think they're a lot better, man.
Yeah, I really like the Leafs this year, but. Anything else for them?
No, I don't think so. I think that's pretty much it.
Okay, Joey. Well, I think that's enough for our team previews. Let's get into our full Atlantic Division standings preview.
The division standing predictions.
Yes, sir. I'll lead this one off. I want to hear. You'll go second this time. I want to see what you think. So,
okay,
winning the division, I have the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Really?
Yeah. In second, I have Florida.
How many points do you think it takes to win that division?
I mean, it's a competitive division. Like, they're going to beat each other a lot. I mean, like 115 probably gets it done. I mean, that gets it done in pretty much any division. Yeah, like 110 minimum. That's what it was. It was 110
That's
last
what I
year.
was going to say. So
yeah.
What's that? That's going to...
Sorry, go ahead.
No, go. I want to hear the rest of it.
Yeah. So Toronto, Florida. I'm going to go Boston at 3. Actually, no. I'm going to go Ottawa at 3.
What?
Boston at 4. Boston's going to be a wild card. And then I got Tampa at 5, missing the playoffs.
You don't have 5 spots in the Atlantic?
No, I have 4. I have Pittsburgh in the Metro.
Oh, that's right. You fucking biased fuck.
Toronto, Florida, Ottawa, Boston is the wild card in the 4 seed. Buffalo missing the playoffs. Tampa Bay missing the playoffs. Montreal missing the playoffs. Detroit missing the playoffs. Those last 4 teams missing the playoffs, all 4 of them can make it. All 8 teams in this division
Yeah.
can make the playoffs. Montreal
The only team
probably,
I don't see making the playoffs is Detroit.
yeah, like they could though. Like they're so close. I don't
They
think they
still could.
will, but they could. And Montreal,
They
I'd
still
say, is
could.
the least likely, but they could. So I think this
All right.
division, like you have your top 3, and then it's going to be a 5-team dogfight for that last spot. Well, I think will be the last spot, but this is probably definitely the deepest division in hockey, and it'll be interesting to see these teams battle it out. Joey, you got your predictions for us here?
Florida goes back to back. I think they win in their division, not for the cup, but
Okay,
in their
okay.
division. Then I got Toronto coming second, but close, like super close. It could be either of
Yeah, for
those
sure.
two for the top. Third, I'm gonna go with these two are also interchangeable, but Tampa Bay in third, Boston in fourth,
Okay.
and then fifth. You might have convinced me on the Sens.
Really?
I think it goes then Sens
So that's your last
in
playoff
fifth,
then is Ottawa?
but yeah, they make the playoffs. The Senators make the playoffs,
Okay.
but it could also be the Sabres
Okay, so you got Buffalo just missing.
just missing, and then I got the Canadians who are still going to be competitive, I think, and then the Red Wings I feel like are going to take a step back and drop down a little bit further.
Dude, like it's so insane putting the Red Wings at 8 and they're like a bubble playoff team. This division is just
Dude, they had 91 points last year.
yeah, this division is so deep.
It's fucking insane. They're so good. But
Yeah.
yeah, so that's my prediction, but I feel like this is the most unpredictable division in the
Completely
NHL.
agree with you, buddy. I mean, I had a bit of a mouthful butchering my predictions, trying to say them. Like I kept switching my
Man,
order.
we're both tired, man. We both got midterms. Like, fuck.
We're good, man. Well, the people know our
Grinding.
predictions now. Hold us to them at the end of the year. We'll get them all posted eventually. Well, Joey, that's it for our Atlantic Division preview. We'll be rolling out the Pacific Division and the Central Division and in the next 2 episodes.
But right now, we're going to send it over to today's interview with our guest, Greg Ross, the head coach of the Poco Trailblazers. We're super excited to bring Greg on. He's been super supportive of the channel. It was awesome to talk about the building of the team. Poco obviously a new expansion team 2 years ago. They did quite a lot this offseason, added a lot of pieces, so it was interesting to talk about that and the future of Poco and of the league itself. So without further ado, let's send it over to our interview right now.
Owen, I remember my first hockey game. The excitement of watching hockey live. The chill of the ice and the slam of a full NHL hockey player slamming against the boards. It was just nothing like it. I remember me and you going to the outdoor game at the Heritage Classic in Vancouver there. I also remember, Brock Besser almost tearing the roof off the building when if he would have scored a third goal to get a hat trick. We watched the Canucks win a couple times, which was pretty sweet. Well, I want to introduce you to a ticketing service called Game Time. Game Time has a new feature called Game Time Picks that makes it getting tickets to see your favorite teams play live even easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. My personal experience, I was just looking at the Kansas City Chiefs playing the Broncos this Sunday. They had a whole bunch going on, but I love how they sort all your tickets into the deals called Super, and then they even have the cheapest tickets or whatever you need. This app really surprised me by showing me, they had this one seats for like $120 off. It was pretty insane and it weren't upper bowl either. There was like in the middle by the sideline. It was pretty sweet. Customize your spot. Game Time Picks curation makes it easier to save on sports, concerts, comedy, theater, etc. All-in pricing. Toggling this feature allows total upfront, no surprise fees at checkout. You can even get your seat view with a panoramic view from the seat and the app before you buy. The lowest price guarantee, or Game Time, will credit you 110% of the difference. Game Time ticket coverage. Your purchase is covered with the most flexible customer service policy in the ticketing industry. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time Picks. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code THPN for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code THPN for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game time.
Okay, I am super excited to bring on our next guest. He's the head coach and GM of the Poco Trailblazers, Greg Ross. Greg, how are you doing?
Good, guys. How you guys doing?
Good.
We're solid. Actually, I'm a little sick today, but I don't know if you can tell my voice.
Going around, man. It's going around.
Yeah, it's going around, Matt. Even down here, it's going around.
Practices and 12 guys or whatever. It's just brutal.
Yeah.
No, I was practicing today. It was like I was hawking up a lung in between drills here. I was like, fuck.
You guys got 3 goalies there, or you got 2?
Yeah, we got 3. So luckily, I'm able to like kind of rotate out a little bit.
Yeah, you could hide out a little bit.
Yeah, I was kind of camping out in between the 2 nets today, which I don't usually like doing, but today was a little bit of an exception. So
brutal.
Yeah. So yeah, you go on.
Yeah, all good. Yeah, well, we'll kind of just get right into it here. We start most of our interviews off by asking just what is your hockey background as a kid? When did you first get into hockey? Who got you into hockey? What's kind of just your journey that's led you up to this point?
Yeah, I played my whole life. I loved it until I didn't, which is actually kind of it's a nice point. My dad played in the Quebec League. My great grandfather worked for the Montreal Canadiens, so it's kind of always been it's been life, right?
Yeah.
Played in New Westminster when I was a kid. Kyle Turris was there those years before he went to BWC. Yep. And then we had you guys might not even know this, but it used to be 2 years midget.
Yep.
So it was in the middle of we only played 1 year Pee-wee. Cause they changed it. So it would be 3 years midget. So the second year Adam, it stayed together. So that was the jump. So we moved to Langley just based on, now it's a little different. You guys, Mission guys, that, there's 3 provincials now.
Yeah.
There wasn't before. It was just your first round playoffs would be 1 against 64 and it would be an absolute bloodbath. So we moved to Langley for my Bantam years and we had good teams those years. And it was before the academies and the zone stuff really started.
Yeah.
And then my first year midget was the first year of zone. Yeah, it's totally different. So the first year, my first year midget was the first year of my zone was the Vancouver Southeast Flames or whatever. So most of the guys wanted to play junior. That was kind of the big thing, right? Everybody was scared of it. Nobody wants to try anything for the first time, right?
Yep.
So I was in Delta for and you could play as a 15-year-old in playing in junior B. So guys would just go and do it, right?
Yeah.
So I was in Delta for a while and then got hurt. And my shoulder's always been bad, but it was just something where it was so easy at that age to fall out of love with the game. So I played the next couple of years and I would try to go back, but it was almost like the COVID year for me, kind of it was just a year where it wasn't a lot of hockey. And you're getting at that age where you're you start hanging out with girls and doing different things, right? So that's kind of the thing for me. There's, I skated with Ridge the year after and I was very much what I always talk about people now, you're better to be in the league than try and win. You know what I mean? For some guys, it's just a better fit. I never wanted to do that. I just care about winning so much that it was just, let's go to places. Delta won 2 years in a row and then Ridge went to the final. So it was just kind of one of those things, right? And then a couple of years after that, I just really didn't want to play anymore.
Right.
I skated with Mission for a little bit when Aldergrove was getting started and I just had no interest, right? It was just one of those things. It was just about 5 years later, I was oh boy, I want to play now and it's too late, right?
Yeah.
But coaching was something I always wanted to do. So it was. I think there's coaches that'll probably tell you that I would have been a better coach than a player, because I didn't like playing defense. So.
Fair enough.
Oh yeah. No, I was gonna say you see that a lot
Yeah.
with well, me and Owen have gone through the junior years now, and we've seen players come and go, and
Mhm.
you sometimes see a guy where you're like, why the hell is this guy quitting? Like this guy was a
Yeah.
great hockey player, but if you fall out of love with the game, I completely agree with you. It's just you don't have the motivation to go on and push yourself every day. It's like you got other stuff going on. People want to get life started.
Like it's
Yeah,
every day, right? And
yeah,
it's something where the schedule is a little bit wild then too. I mean, you had your consistent like Delton, Richmond, still the same night in the same ice time in the same rinks, but like I think there was 9 teams. Like you just playing everybody all the time, and one of those things. So yeah, as I say, for me that was just kind of the path, right? And then I got it's kind of a weird story. Like I always wanted to coach. I tell you guys this now, and like if you guys want to coach, get into it as soon as you're done playing, because what happens is it's tough because you're never going to get a coaching job, if you've never coached before.
Right.
yeah,
Right.
right.
So and when you've played at a high level, or you want to coach at a high level, as fun as coaching like U11C guys is, like it's not getting you what you need for what you want,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it took me a long time. My brother was coaching with Jerry Leeper, the GM in Surrey, just 1 year in Cloverdale, and so I was kind of went out and like messed around, and I thought it was kind of cool. I felt like one of the boys again.
Yeah.
But then the next that summer, my dad passed, and me and my 2 brothers are like, well, why don't we just get a team and do this together? Like it was just about timing, because we didn't, we're getting older, and me and my brother both have kids now, so it's just one of those things, right? And then it just kind of went crazy. I mean, it's funny because like the age group that I really got going in is the guys in the league now.
Yeah.
So there's not
Okay.
anybody that we play. It just kind of seems like I've gone with them, which is kind of cool. But yeah, now it's not the coaching job it once was. I'll tell you that.
I was gonna ask you, how do you think I think you've been in the league. How much experience do you have in the PJ now?
Yeah, this is my second season as a head coach, and then I was on the bench in Surrey the year before because my brother was there with Andy, and we were there for about maybe 15 games, and then this whole thing started. So we kind of had to back off just because of
Right.
we knew this new team was coming. So it was something where it was kind of they politely asked, and we were going to kind of do it anyways. Like it was just something that just didn't make a lot of sense. But I mean, the league changes every year now.
Right.
I mean, it seems like we're adding a team a year.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's
no kidding.
Much different for sure.
I was gonna say the change from back when you were involved in the league as a player versus how much it's developed now.
Not even close. I mean, although I mean, I think I made a comment in Mission, just a couple weeks ago, that like there might be 60 guys in the league right now that could have played in that league because there wasn't the options that there was. Like the Giants used to send guys to the Delta Ice Hawks, the same facility, right? Like it was very different, tougher. But I mean, I think the league over the years has kind of got a bit of a bad rap, and it's so totally not what it once was. I mean, you guys know from playing even in the KI, like it's not what it. Everybody talks about it, and I could go into countless things where guys stay and where they are or opt to not go. Like that, it's a different feel, right? And especially now with this coaching groups are getting a little bit younger, kind of matching what you guys would have seen before. But yeah, it's much different. I'll tell you. I would hate to see how they called penalties today in that game because we already get like 14 power plays.
Oh yeah, it's completely different.
Yeah. Well, how did that transition kind of happen then for you? I mean, obviously you said you started with Surrey and then heard about this whole Poco getting a team. So how does your transition go from coaching minor hockey to
Yeah.
getting into junior and building an entire team from scratch with the Poco Trailblazers?
Yeah, so I coached the Bantams here for 5 years. We won
Yeah.
provincials the last year I was here, and the year previous to that, Rob's son Robbie's dad owns a team, and
Yeah.
we all take different credit for it. I think during that year, I probably bugged Rob about 20 times, being like, "Hey, like, we were getting 400 or 500 people to midget games on a Saturday night. Like, we got to do this." And then some down the line, everybody takes credit for it differently. So, but yeah, and then it came together quick. Like I think we submitted in like September of that year. The vote was like December, and we announced January like 26th, and then we were playing that
Wow.
September. So it was like
6 month
super
process.
quick. I mean, the day we announced was the first time I'd ever seen the dressing room space. And it was legitimately a concrete room with like 3-inch pipes out of the ground. So it's just something like came together super fast.
Yeah.
I like the coast. I think the coast announced like maybe 6 months after us, and they started,
Yeah.
a month ago. Right. So,
Yeah.
it might have been part of the reason that last year went the way it did. I mean, Owen, we played you guys tight twice. Like, I think there's a lot
You
of
beat us
people have
once.
a lot more belief in what the team was than it was. But man, did we find some like absolutely comical ways to lose hockey games. Like, it's just something that it's like, I joked the other night in Port Moody, Tate Humphreys lost his mind and was getting a double minor, and Evan Fidel scored on his own net on the delayed penalty. And I was like, that's the only way we didn't find a way to lose last year. It was legitimately the only way I've ever seen that. So, but yeah, insane. I mean, one day when I get permission, one day I can't wait to share the folder of the logos and the names and the different colors. Like, it's just a process that is unlike something else. We had some great ones, some bad ones. The colors they kind of sunk in pretty quick. But yeah, I mean, I still have it on my computer. I'm like, oh, I need to free up some space, but I'm not deleting that. Because you see some of that stuff. Like, they had the one with when the Colorado Avalanche got there, and then they posted like all the names that it could have been and all the different logos. And we're all like, oh, that's sick. So it'd be cool one day down the line for somebody to see it. I just know you're going to get pumped on what you didn't pick, right? So
were you pretty heavily involved in that, or?
We were involved in all of it. It was
nice.
Which was cool. I probably picked fights that I didn't need to. Like, I was really passionate about one name specifically. I was really passionate about, and then I was just kind of like, whatever, like pick whatever you want. But we saw it all, and luckily my brother's works at a hockey shop, so like we were getting samples and we were doing all that stuff. So it was cool. It's kind of like when you buy your first beer league set of jerseys. It's like, this is awesome, and then you see somebody else come out with something else, and you're like, oh man. But that was the thing. We wanted it to be unique, and I've always loved the purple and yellow. So now if we can just find a way to get a black jersey, I think I'd be happy.
Fair enough. Well, yeah, I mean, I think your setup with your jerseys are pretty sweet. And then obviously I had the chance to, play at your home rink last year, brand new facility. How sweet has that been, having like a brand new facility and to come with the brand new team and just, everything getting finally put together? What was that like?
Well, and there's a couple things, right? Like Brad Westmere here, there's been they got a new turf fields. Soccer BC's moving their facilities here. Like, and I'm missing so many things. Like, I live in Langley, so I mean, I hear about them when I get to the rink. But the facility is amazing. Kind of the note to show you, like, I think crowds are down a little bit this year, but I always say, like, don't judge your crowds until the middle of October on. Like, everybody's still got summer stuff going on. You know what I mean? But like the last 2 home games last year, we were a 6-win hockey team at that point, and we had 900 against White Rock, which we ended up winning. And then it was like 90. Yeah, I think it was like we were just short of 1,000 in the last home game of the year, and like we were 7-40. So like the building itself is sweet, but like to get people in the building it's kind of it makes it even more, right? I always laugh, like I watched the first game of the year. Delta played Langley at Sun God Arena, and it's just like the joke that it's yellow t-shirt night, right? Like, I mean, our league's never selling that building out, but it's just one of those
like
things.
A night,
it just kind of makes it something else. The city was really good to us with the arena or in the dressing room. There's not much we don't have here. But it's something where we kind of felt like we succeeded last year in some way, just because you put it together that quickly. It's insane, right? And then I had an Instagram post about how it was time to change things on the ice, and man, we had a summer. Everybody talks about regular seasons games here. I mean, I just can't imagine what a playoff game would be like here.
That's awesome.
Especially if the playoffs stay the way they are right now, 4 or 5, us in the coast, like there'd be more people that would see that series than the rest of the playoffs.
Yeah, that would probably. Yeah.
Would you say 2 of the most supported teams in the league? I don't know. I don't really follow the attendance numbers.
Probably 1 and 2.
The coast is, I mean, and I'm going to offend people in the coast when I say it, but like, there's not a lot to do, so to have those like Saturday,
Friday, it's a pretty small town,
Sunday nights, right? Like, plus you get, I mean, you guys know, like you still get the parents and brothers and sisters and girlfriends going to games. Like, that's why games look full in small buildings, even though White Rock's rink in the playoffs is sick. I hate playing there because it's like the size of a 3-on-3 rink, but like that place in the playoffs is sick because everybody's right on the glass. But the coast is very similar build to us, very similar arena setup. So it's, I mean, I like it because it's a little bit behind you. I don't have guys catching girls' eyes in the corners, but maybe some guys, I don't know.
It's half the fun, man.
Well, I mean, exactly. I'm not taking it away. I'm just saying, at least it's not all 4 corners.
That's good.
Yeah. So, I mean, maybe talk a little bit about, I mean, last year, like you said, you guys were a 7-win team. And I mean, talk about what went into this offseason. You have a very, very different group coming in this year. I mean, you have some good returning players. Marcus Jack, your captain. I believe you coached him in growing up as well.
I did. Yeah. Him and Tristan Hickson I've had for like years in a row. Like it's kind of crazy.
Oh, nice.
How many years it is, but yeah, I mean, we brought back probably a couple more than I think we thought we were going to. But guys earned their way back, so that was what we wanted. Some of the stuff in the summer was really interesting. Like I think it started with Derek LaRue, just the type of guy that you need in game 49 and 50 and 51. You know what I mean? It's just that type of guy that I think he's chopped everybody in the league at least once. And then just little things happen. Like we played in that spring league. Owen, did you ever play in that league when you were playing that? Like,
I played 1 game, I think.
Yeah. So like we had 2 teams in it, and it was just like, we had a bunch of White Rock guys, and it was just, but what it did is it kind of allowed us some space to get to know some guys. So Bailey Wana started skating with us. That was a little bit of a longer process. Ryan and I went to watch the Northeast Chiefs in the playoffs because we had a pretty good idea we were going to get Charlie Gardner because he played for us last year. And I think Gards has got like 14 points, so I'm glad we did.
Yeah, it's still on tear.
But we went to the game, and like we weren't even going to go. Like the weather was brutal. We weren't going to drive. It was like a 3:00 start on a Friday afternoon. And we ran into Tate Humphreys and Lucas Baxter just like randomly. Ryan knows them from Hockey Shop. I knew who they were, but didn't know them for anything. And then
Yeah.
we were kind of standing, we lost our spot. We were standing across the ice, and I was like, why don't you just text them? Like, get them to come skate with us once. Like, tell them to come have some fun.
Yeah.
Right. And then a couple of weeks later, we knew we were getting them. And then Braden Wynn's buddies with them. And that was he wasn't quite sure what was going to happen in Lethbridge. So, I mean, it was kind of nice to add it that way. And then just some little things like the South Delta guys, Trollin and Fletcher Lucas, and those guys that affiliated with us last year, that just, they want to be in the lineup and they'll work, but also they understand where they are in that lineup at times.
Yep.
I'm sure I'm missing somebody. We got Kieran Corin, the goaltender, really late. Kieran's been a dog for us. We allow too many goals right now, but Connor Hughes had a breakaway from 120 feet the other night with 5 seconds left. You just need those little things. And then we just added Brady Reed, another guy that's probably slashed everybody in the league. But just, I mean, the truth is, and I'll say this out loud, like, we played Richmond a couple weeks ago. That's what you got to look at. I haven't seen Ridge yet. But I mean, that's what you got to build off of. You got to look at those teams and be like, how do I beat them? And if you get lucky, you get a chance to play them. Really, I mean, you guys know you got to get lucky sometimes, right? So we got a lot of points we still need to get, but it was just kind of an odd summer, and we probably missed on some guys, honestly. Like, there's some guys playing in other spots. Like, it could look like a bigger change than it is. And Marcus Jack, I have to talk about him, even though it's really hard to talk about him. I've seen that he was like 4'4" when I met him. Just one of those guys that he's slowly, day by day here, going to get more and more respect throughout this league. Like, he just works and cares so much about being here. I could talk all day about Marcus and stuff like that. So I shouldn't, though.
Well, I kind of have a question more so coming to the like the daily operation. So you're the head coach and GM, right? At the same time.
I'm the head coach. My brother's the general manager.
Your brother's the GM, but
my brother's the general manager. Yeah.
But you're probably pretty involved in a lot of the decisions that take place, correct?
All of it. Yeah. I mean, generally we kind of have it as like a 4-guy group. Me and my brother, Rob, who's our governor. We have 5 other owners that are in kind of in and out. They have certain responsibilities. And Anthony, one of them, he's our like director of hockey. So we kind of deal with all the organizational stuff. Hockey, Ryan and I talk to that guy too much. Like, he's probably so sick of me. But we've been doing it together for a long time, and I just feel like it's a little bit like there's some stuff sometimes just because it's your brother, right? But,
of course.
My twin brother Jeff's been on the bench with me for 8 years now. He's a rock for me. Anywhere I ever go, that's where I want him. I want him with me. It's in dynamic.
It's a family business then.
It is, yeah. We've added. Last year, Ryan was on the bench with us, and then this year it just got too much. Like, it was, the game day stuff is pretty crazy. It's a little bit different around the league, right? Because I always bring up Richmond and Delta because they've had those times forever. Like Richmond's had the same volunteers forever, right? So we had people that were here last year. They're here half the games, they're not, and we kind of always jumping in and filling in for those spots. But it's a little different when you have people in the crowd versus not, right? You don't need as much.
Yeah, right. So when you're working with the family, when you got to make some tough decisions, is there a little bit of arguing that goes on, or like how does that kind of filter?
It happens. It happens. I mean, I think we all know for the most part that we're all in it for the same reasons. I care about winning so much. That was why last year was so hard for me. Like, it was something where you like I lost 4 games the year before. And then we won 7 times last year. It was just very different. But it's no different than any other guy on our staff. I brought Ty Wittard on our staff this year. He's a 21-year-old, but Ty's just, me and him probably get into it more than Ryan and me and Ryan. So yeah, it happens, but usually it happens over the phone on the drive home. You know, he blames me, I
Right.
blame
Oh,
him.
okay, yeah,
It's all
yeah,
good. It's all good.
fair enough.
Gotcha.
There you
Well,
go, Owen.
so Joe, I'm not sure if you have much else, but I only have a couple. I got two more questions here. So
Mhm.
my first one that I'll ask now is just what are your expectations for the team and for yourself, not only this year but for the future as well? What are your short term and long term goals?
Absolutely. Yeah. So I mean, with the group this year, I mean, we want to make the playoffs. I mean, I think you're crazy if you don't want to, or you don't think you're
Of
gonna.
course,
I mean, that's why I think we've been so active. It's where we want to be.
yeah,
But the funny thing is, I told our guys this year, beat everyone. Make sure you beat every team. That will go so far down the line for the organization, regardless of who's here in the years to come. Like we play Delta Friday night. Like we owe Delta one so bad. Like we had a
yeah,
bad one at home last year that it caused a lot of problems. But it's just something where if you beat everybody once, it carries on. We got to drop that fear of some of those teams.
for
Um,
sure.
for me, the first thing I said to our guys, we had like a meeting in the first week, and I said, "There's two guys that are in this room that have been where I want to be." I've since I was a little kid, I wanted to be involved in the Western Hockey League. So I mean, that's my thing. It's something that happens or it doesn't, but I'm quite happy where I am right now. We have a group that is just the biggest group of beauties. It causes some problems sometimes, obviously, but it's just you can just see it. You feel it when you walk in the room.
Yeah,
But yeah, I mean, I think organizationally, obviously, the tier one thing is kind of lingering. Um,
yeah,
the information is slowly got out here and there, but the other thing too is nobody knows. Obviously, we've got a couple weeks away from this NCAA vote, and it's who knows what hockey's going to look like. I mean, I think the
yeah.
biggest
That's
thing for
right.
all of us is surviving and making sure we're still a part of the game. For our players, I want more of our guys going to play at school in the U.S. Like I think it's totally a thing that can happen,
Yeah,
and probably in some cooler places than if you got like sick D1 rides. There was a guy the other day that was like handing out cards. And he's from Oregon. Like, yeah, that'd be sweet. They probably have
Yeah,
seven
no
different
kidding.
jerseys their football team does. So
sick.
like,
Yeah,
Yeah,
but yeah, I mean, like it's just one of those things that if guys are willing to go and do those things now, like the opportunities are all over the place. I just saw somebody today, like they got a D1. Maybe it was Dryden Kuramoto going like Tennessee State or something. They got D1.
yeah.
yeah,
That's
Another one of my buddies that I train with in the summer just committed to Tennessee State as well. So I think they're
yeah. So
doing
it's like
like
you would have
they're a
never
new
thought.
program next year, but
Yeah,
yeah. I
like you
didn't
would
even
have
know they
never
had a team.
thought.
yeah,
Yeah,
the first yeah.
but SFU is still trying
Yeah,
hard. Got one in
I
Tennessee, but
know they
SFU
are.
is
Oh
still
yeah.
working hard.
I know
Right,
they are. Yeah, I hear about it every day.
No, I
every
think
single
I
day.
think I agree with you. I think even if it's ACHA or NCAA D3 or whatever, it's going to pick up. The college game is going to more and more Canadians are going to come down here and try and play college, especially if it becomes more affordable, right?
Absolutely,
Yeah,
100%.
Yeah,
And that's the biggest thing. I mean, you guys know very well. Like the cost of this game has gone crazy, and
yeah,
yeah,
and it's something that some of the educations might have been passed up so that guys could play in certain places, which is too bad. But what are we gonna do?
yeah.
That's kind of
yeah.
how it is right now, right?
Well, yeah. I don't know. I don't know if you know, but I'm in Missouri right now playing
Mhm.
ACHA hockey as well. So it was a pretty big step, but I was relatively happy with the outcome just because of how financially doable it was
Mhm.
compared to like going to school back home. It's almost the same. So it's if it becomes more reachable for more players, it's nothing but good for the game, right?
Absolutely. How's the hockey? Is it what you expected, or?
It's it's not bad. It's what I expected as a first year program, I think.
Mhm.
Because we're so new, we didn't really get a really strong schedule. So we're winning a lot. Like we're 5-1 right now. Um, and I expect us to like win quite a bit,
Mhm.
especially with the guys that we got. But yeah, as we kind of develop, like even next year, we're probably going to play mostly top 20 teams in our schedule. Like this year, we're playing teams that are like 30, 40. It's like, it's not, we should be able to beat most of them. But then next year, and as the team develops, and we'll get more guys because now we're like 75% Canadians.
Right
So
on.
we'll get more guys
Right
from
on.
up in Vancouver and Alberta and stuff. So if we can even get better and then develop and get a better schedule, it's going to be, and then
Absolutely.
we'll see what the NCAA vote is as well, because that
Yeah.
can affect us too.
It's gonna have guys tearing it up down there at some point. Like
Oh yeah,
guys,
oh yeah,
guys that play 5 years in the Western League, playing 4 more at school, just absolute
Yeah.
men. Like,
yeah.
yeah. I mean, I think that's
So,
going to be a good thing, though. Like, I think that's going to be a good thing. I think that both. I don't think there's going to be an argument from Canadian or American players, really. Like, everybody wants to play.
yeah,
The opportunities, and the U.S. does a really good job at like, they do some dumb stuff too, like with the scholarship numbers and stuff like that. But they're really good at like making sure that the American player in any sport is protected. Um,
Yeah.
I'm sure somebody from the U.S. would tell me I'm wrong. But something that I think it could be good for everybody. And the other thing for me is I just think about how many more NCAA Division I schools we may see. Like
Yeah.
yeah,
who's to
Totally.
say that we don't see some of these football powerhouses be like, yeah, sweet, like
yeah. Why not?
Some of the southern schools.
right, like
Yeah,
can you imagine SEC down there? Like it's crazy,
be
Yeah.
unreal. It's actually a
insane.
Yeah.
cult down here. How many people follow it? It's crazy. Like I
Yeah.
didn't realize until I moved down here. It's nuts how many people follow that stuff. It's almost more popular than NFL.
Oh yeah. Oh, that doesn't
It's
surprise me at
insane.
all. Yeah, it doesn't
It's
Yeah.
surprise me at
insane.
all. I just wish I could finally finish my rebuild on the college football game. Because if I could do that, I'm a national champ, man.
Be awesome, man.
Unbelievable.
Joe, you got much else here, buddy?
No, I don't think so. I think it's a really solid interview with you, Greg.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I'll just finish up with one last thing here. Do you have any favorite story, must tell story from your career about a player, anything hockey
Or memory or
related
something.
that you got to leave us with?
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, you know what? I'm gonna go with. I want to talk. I want to make sure I'm talking about our guys. I think it's important to
Yeah.
that.
Sure.
I gotta go back to him. Man, he's gonna be so mad at me. Um, I just can't understand how guys that play in this city don't want to be Marcus Jack.
Yeah.
But like, you should see the kids that chase this guy around the rink. And now it's probably because they're the same size as him. But just something like we've been doing post game interviews and stuff on our video. Like everybody's trying to up their game for what might be coming, right?
Yeah.
And like guys were signing autographs, and it wasn't really his turn. He was running upstairs to go do post game, and he just said, like, go ask your parents if you can hang out for 5 minutes, and I'll come back and I'll spend all this time. And just this guy was like, he's still in his gear for an hour after the game. Like
Yeah.
it's just what we talk about, like what the game's supposed to be, right? And I mean that you see it all over the place. But it was cool that it happened within the last couple weeks. And then the guys made him shit guy of the week. So I don't know, like I don't know how that works. But, I kind of vetoed that. I'm like, no, like the stuff he's doing, but just
Taking the
those type of
spotlight.
things. It's not just him now. Guys, have kind of taken on that, and it's going to cost me less pucks. Probably guys throwing pucks up and warm up if they're going to go sign autographs after games.
That's good, man.
That's awesome. No, that's great to hear. Well, thank you so much for your time. This has been a great
Absolutely.
interview. I really appreciate you coming on. You've been super supportive of us from the start with this podcast, reaching out, and that means a lot. So thank you so much, and we're glad that
Thank you.
you share the vision for growing the game and giving these leagues the exposure they deserve.
Absolutely, boys. What you guys are doing is awesome. So keep it up. Hopefully, I can do another one with you maybe in April after something happens.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
I
we'll
would
see
love
you,
to.
man.
I would love to. That sounds awesome.
All right, Owen, the quest for the Stanley Cup starts now. The puck dropping on the 2024-2025 season. Get in on all the action at the DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL. It's super easy for first-timers to get started. Try betting on something simple, like picking a team to win. Just go to the DraftKings Sportsbook app, select your team, and place your first bets. I was looking at the lines. Of course, the Canucks are favored, -205 against the Flames because the Flames are, they're the Flames. So, bet maybe take that one. Or we also got the Oil, or we could bet the Canucks to win the Stanley Cup as well, plus 1,800. And if you're new to DraftKings, listen up. New customers bet $5 and get 200 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code THPN. That's code THPN for new customers to get 200 in bonus bets when you bet just $5 only on DraftKings. The crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, 21 and over. Age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/ice.
Thank you so much to Greg Ross for hopping on an interview today with me and Joey. Obviously, it was an excellent interview. Lots to say about Poco and quite an interesting journey so far with that team. So thank you again. And now you want to give us a bit of a KIJHL recap? What's been going on lately?
Oh my God, I'm unprepared. Yeah, let's do it. See if my computer loads this fucking screen fast enough here.
It's okay. I'll cut off.
There we go. I got it. No, it's perfect. Keep it in. We actually got some games in progress right now. Sycamoose is taking on Merritt. Kamloops is playing Williams Lake, and Spokane is playing Beaver Valley as we speak. But we'll go over some other things. So you remember how I said 100 Mile was the wagon? Low-key a wagon?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, they lost 7-1 to Princeton.
Oh.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't really know what to expect there. Some other score lines. We talked about Revelstoke. They absolutely clapped Kamloops after going down 2-0. Stephanation's words just fired up the boys, and the boys got after it. What else? Quinnell and Chase had a barn burner. It was like 7-6 in overtime for Quinnell. Yeah, I know. Some high scoring games here. But yeah, I was actually heartbroken. Revelstoke lost their home opener to Creston 2-1.
Oh, tough one.
Yeah, tough go. But yeah, anyways, I think that's pretty much it.
What about some of the point leaders? Same guys still lighting it up? Or?
I was just gonna go there. The rookie on Revelstoke, Jaden Rusnak, still has 12 points in 8 games. Or Revelstoke, 100 Mile. Sorry.
Okay.
12 points in 8 games. A lot of the Princeton guys are talking about Matthew Langdon. 11 points in 6 games for Princeton.
Ooh.
What's that?
Oh, I just said
you say you? Yeah. Yeah. Josh Gamble. You remember the guy that I called out at the start? Josh Gamble on Castlegar?
Were you calling him out? Like saying he's going to be good?
No, I was saying he was going to have a good year. 10 points in 6 games right now.
Ooh, what a call, Joey.
But then leading the league in points, 12 points in 6 games is Levi Astil on the Grand Forks Border Bruins.
Grand Forks has some players, man.
Yeah, exactly. And you know what? At the top of this of these scoring lists, I'm seeing a lot of teams that I did not see last year.
Interesting.
100 Mile, Grand Forks, Castlegar, Kamloops, Princeton, of course, Kimberly, of course. But how about Nick Hughes being 9th in the league in points as a defenseman?
Oof.
And then Cole Duquette as well on 100 Mile, defenseman with 9 points in 8 games.
Wow. Yeah, that's pretty impressive. Gallo numbers.
Yeah, really impressive still. Yeah, Gallo numbers, literally. No fucking Cam Reed numbers. Like I don't even know if you know who that is.
I don't think so.
But yeah, no, a couple scores from around the KI as well, and did we release our? I gotta check and see our 3 stars of the week. Andrew Morris, one of my buddies who got traded to Chase from Revelstoke got player of the week, a D-man. Boris Hristov had 5 points in 2 games, and Brendan Smith stopped 44-46.
Man.
Going 1-0 against. Was that against Rev? Wow,
Yeah,
good for him. The guy that just got acquired from Kamloops. Or not Kamloops, Kelowna.
Yeah, after they got foul.
Yeah.
Yeah, buddy. Well, the Pidge, I mean, obviously, some teams are already over a quarter of the way done. How crazy is that to think about? But leading the way, Mateo Schoberg continues to lead the league in points. He's got 26 in 13 games, 15
That's
goals.
absurd.
Yeah, he played in the BCHL, I believe the AJ. He was a WHL draft pick, so he's a stud. Zach LaGrange, 22 points in 9 games, leading the way for the Ridge Meadows Flames. Nicholas Norin of the Richmond Sockeyes, 10 goals, 10 assists for 20 points in 10 games. Rolling at 2 points per game. And then, like Greg just talked about, Marcus Jack of the Poco Trailblazers, 4th in the league, 18 points in 10 games. He's been unbelievable for them, along with his line mate, Bailey Awanis. I don't know if he's a line mate, but I would assume so. Bailey Awanis, who also used to play in the AJ. He's got 17 points in 10 games. As far as D, Ridge's captain, Lucas Ravenstein, 17 points in 9 games as a D-man. And then Minnesota Wild prospect Caden Bankier's younger brother, Keegan Bankier, 15 points in 10 games as a D-man for White Rock. So just a few of the guys that are leading the league. Obviously, a lot of guys at the top are just guys who have played more games as of right now. But for the most part, I think we're still going to see like a ton of Ridge guys at the top. Like another D-man, Jacob Lowen, 14 points in 9 games for Ridge. He was D-man of the year last year. But you're going to see a lot of guys on these top teams as usual putting up points. But you'll have the odd player mixed in. Abbotsford's Connor Jarvis, 16 points in 10 games. He's in 10th in the league. Lots of guys producing from different teams. Lots of guys who I didn't really expect to put up the numbers they've been putting up, but some good surprises. And yeah, some guys have had really impressive starts to the year. As for the standings, Ridge is undefeated. They're in first place in their division. Chilliwack 8-1, closely behind them. Chilliwack's only loss was 6-0 loss to Ridge. Besides that, the rest of this division's pretty tight in the Harold Britton Conference. Aldergrove still yet to win a game. Surrey only 1 win. What is happening there? Mission, a couple wins in a row here, Joey. We're making a push. They're playing.
Didn't they win 11 rip or something?
Sorry?
Didn't they win 11 rip or something?
It wasn't 11, but
Mission?
Maybe it was 11. I don't know. Yeah, they smoked Aldi the other night. I don't remember the final score, but yeah, 11 rip. No, you're right. Another thing to shout out, though, Abbotsford, who Mission has actually beat this year, lost 1-0 to Ridge. That's Ridge's closest game of the year. So apparently Abbotsford's goalie, Joe Van Dillon, stopped 39 of 40 shots against the top team in the league. So what a game for him. That's pretty impressive. And then, yeah, this division, everyone's just kind of battling it out. I mean, Aldergrove and Ridge, both the outliers at the top and the bottom. And then Chilliwack's looking great. Langley's around 500. Abbey's around 500. Mission's a little under 500. And then Surrey's been brutal, but I think they'll turn it around a bit and compete for a playoff spot. Then in the other division, Delta's played the most games. They're in first place. They're 9-4. I think putting them 6th was probably a little low. They're probably going to finish top 3. But
Richmond, I said trust in Merrick Erickson.
Sorry?
I said trust in Merrick Erickson.
Yeah, exactly. And then we got Richmond and White Rock, both 8-2, 10 games played. Poco is 7-3 with 10 games played, and Coastal just behind them in the last playoff spot. Port Moody still looks horrible, still only has 1 win. No clue what's going on in Port Moody. I thought they were going to be so good. And then North Van's been playing a bit better hockey, more competitive. They won another game, but still not looking great. And then, yeah, Grandview just not going to be good enough to compete with the top teams in this division. But honestly, the top 5 in both divisions right now, which is the ones who get into the play-in and playoffs, look kind of set. I mean, I think Surrey can chase Mission a bit, and Grandview and North Van will probably chase Coastal for that last spot. But we might see the playoffs finish how they're looking right now for the most part in the Pidge, if I'm being honest.
Really?
But that's pretty much all I got as far as the Pidge there, buddy. You've been following it all? Any notes?
The only thing I follow is Mission.
Yeah,
just because that's the only thing I saw. They won 11 rip, and I was like, oh my god, that's got to be one of the biggest wins in MCO history or something.
Probably was, dude. We were probably a stronger team last year, but when we won games, like we didn't blow teams out often. We had like 2 blowouts last year.
Yeah,
where it was like point night. Like it wasn't point night even when we were playing bad teams. It was like most teams go to play Poco last year, and we're like, okay, we're gonna win this game 1-0, and most teams are putting up 8. Like even against the weak,
Yeah, yeah.
we just weren't a goal scoring team. So good to see Mission put up 11. Quick shout out to my old rook Ben Leslie, 3 points per game right now. Just had his first game back from a shoulder injury against Aldi, and he put up 3 points for Mission in his first game back.
That's huge.
Good job, Ben. Let's move over to the VI, Joey. Peninsula undefeated in regulation in the South Division. They're 7-0-2 in first place. West Shore closely behind them at 7-2-1. And then after that, we've got Kerry Park and Victoria, both just over 500. Kerry Park only played 8 games. Victoria's played 10. So Kerry Park probably looking like the third team in that division. And then Saanich at the bottom. As for the North Division, Campbell River and Port Alberni, pretty tight in first place. Campbell River's ahead, but Port Alberni has 2 games at hand. And then Nanaimo also looking pretty strong this year. And then Comox is 500, and Oceanside and Cowichan are looking pretty weak. Joe, have you checked in on the VI at all? Obviously, we've talked to Charlie and,
No,
shouldn't
I have not checked in on the VI. However, I can see that Peninsula is looking like a wagon. I can see that my prediction of Port Alberni coming first in the division could come true because they have 2 games in hand.
It's looking good.
Did I say Peninsula was going to come first? I don't know.
Honestly, dude, I don't
I
remember.
don't remember.
But
I don't even remember either.
We'll pull it up.
We got to pull it up. We'll pull it up another time. But
yeah.
As long as my predictions are going well, I think that's good enough for me from the VI. So.
Well, just a few player stats to mention quick.
I am actually interested in the player stats because sometimes in the VI people throw up ridiculous amount of points.
Hasn't been looking that way so far. The league's looking like really balanced throughout. Victoria BC native Zion Lavoie leading the VI.
It's a sick name.
It is a sick name. He's got 15 points in 10 games for West Shore. Sean Richards, Grayson Salmon, and Liam Smith all still leading the way for Port Alberni as rookies. They all got 13 to 14 points so far. Jacob Koulis, a 06 on the Campbell River, 14 points in 12 games, leading the way there. Not seeing a lot of any D here near the top at all, actually, on the first page. Joe, your favorite player in the VI, UC Sarni from Finland, 9 points in 10 games for Victoria so far. He's been playing real good hockey. And then Alex Alhaj, the player on Comox from Montpellier, France, has 8 points in 10 games as a D-man. He's been unbelievable for Comox so far. So, yeah, buddy, just a few of the VI top players there. Obviously, we're going to keep recapping the league, and we did. I accidentally spoiled it already, but we'll just ignore that. I didn't say it super obvious. We had just had another VI player on for an interview, so we'll be rolling that out pretty quick, and we're going to keep trying to give the VI more coverage because obviously, like we said, we know the least about it. But Joey, you got anything else for us involving junior hockey news?
No, I don't think so, man. I think we're pretty good there. I looked. Who's I looking at? I was just walking and looking at the KI Sniper, couple posts like we talked about already, but it's kind of my main news source for KI stuff. So it's pretty funny to watch.
We're big KI Sniper fans on this podcast.
I'd say so.
Love the KI Sniper. But buddy, I think we'll.
Bro's gaining traction, man. He's almost at 1,000 followers.
Damn, dude. Yeah, he needs to like give some of those to us, dude. He's got to start shouting us out or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry, buddy. What was I going to say there?
He's exactly at 1,000 right now as we speak.
No way! Congrats, KI Sniper, on 1,000 followers. Big for the league.
1,000 followers. That's huge.
Amazing news source. But Joey, I think let's get into some jungle sports here. You've been following the MLB playoffs?
Yeah, a little bit. I watched. Who did I watch? It's been all KC down here, man. Everyone follows KC now.
Oh yeah.
I guess because where I'm at, there's not a whole lot of. There's like the Cardinals, right?
Yeah.
The St. Louis Cardinals. But the Royals are the closest team in the playoffs, so they're everyone's following them right now.
See how they do, or how they did?
Yeah, they won 4-1 last night. I watched it.
Well, yeah, but they swept Baltimore before that.
Oh yeah. Oh, I guess we haven't really talked about that yet because
anything.
I'm just talking more current.
No, it's all good. Well, when we last talked, we mentioned that we talked about the Braves versus Mets series where they split. Another crazy thing
Yeah.
about that, the Mets won that game 8-7, hey? After losing the first one, like
Yeah.
they had to win that. Francisco Lindor hits a 413-foot homer center field to win the game in the ninth. So we kind of
Yeah.
glazed over that. But as for the playoffs, Kansas City, they swept Baltimore. San Diego swept Atlanta after that whole thing. The Mets ended up, however, beating Milwaukee and moving on. And the Detroit Tigers take down the Houston Astros.
Go Tigers.
After that, I mean, did you see the Padres-Dodgers game at all? The 7-5 Dodgers win? The Padres were up 5-4.
Well, I thought you were going to talk about the 10-2 waxing the next day.
No, I wasn't going to talk about that yet. But, dude, I was watching. So I put on that Padres game. And I believe it was 5-4 for the Padres when I put the game on. Or 5-3, actually. And it was just like all the, like kind of the depth guys on the Dodgers were up and they were just all getting on base. And then Ohtani comes up and you just know he's going to hit one. I think he just hit a single or a double, but he put the ball in play and he had a homer earlier that game too. So when Shohei Ohtani's on the TV, I'm always going to try and sit down and watch. Besides that.
And then he went over.
And then he went over in the Padres with a commanding
and a
win.
10-2 fucking bomb. I love watching the Dodgers lose. I love it.
Yeah.
I actually love it.
Well, I mean, that game, they're playing right now, and San Diego's up 6-5 in the fifth, so keep an eye on that one.
I'm probably going to switch. I'm going to probably switch that on when I go do some homework here.
Yeah, and then the Mets won today to go up 2-1 on the Phillies. Yankees and Royals are tied at 1, and the Tigers and Guardians are tied at 1, and that's pretty much it for the MLB recap. Joe, who's your MLB champion right now? Give us a prediction.
Okay, do you want a real prediction or do you want like the team I want to win?
Give me both.
Okay, the real prediction is the Dodgers.
Okay.
Because they're the best team in baseball.
Okay.
I love watching them lose though. But here's the thing. I really, really, really want Detroit to win, even though they have no chance.
You're a big
always been
guy.
kind of I've been a closet Detroit Tigers fan for a really long time. I think I was one of the first.
You never hit your Miguel Cabrera fandom though.
I love Miguel Cabrera. I wish he was still on the team.
Legend of the
Get him a ring. Get him a ring. I love Miguel Cabrera, man. He was one of my favorite players of all time. He's probably my favorite player of all time.
That's fair. Yeah, man. I honestly, dude, I really like. I mean, the Mets are up on the Phillies 2-1, but I really like the Phillies. Like, I think they got a good squad. I'm not going to pick them to win because they're down 2-1, but
I just hate Bryce Harper, man.
fair enough.
I like seeing him cry.
I used to not like him, and then he ended up like resurging his career.
No, he's not a bad guy anymore. Before, when he was on the Nationals, he was kind of a bitch.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't like him back then, but I like him now.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, my World Series pick, honestly, my pick and the team I want to win are both the Dodgers. Mookie Betts is my favorite player, so I always want to see Mookie win. I want to see Shohei needs to win too, though. Like, you want to see Shohei win. Like,
I would love Shohei to go his entire career without a fucking World Series. That would be hilarious. That would be hilarious. The greatest player of all time, never to win a World Series. That would be amazing.
It sounds like Connor McDavid so far.
I would love to. Oh, that's what McDavid's going to do, man, unless he leaves.
Well, Joey, you got anything else at all here you want to talk about? Anything else for us to go over or whatnot?
Well, how much time do we got? I could go over a million things, Elson, but
anything you want to talk about? Buddy?
No, I don't think so. No, Chelsea drew this weekend, so I don't want to talk about it. And City won the case. They do you see the legal case that they were going through?
City won?
They fucking won. It's not about the 115, but it's about like stuff related to the 115.
I saw there was like 4 teams. I thought Chelsea actually was one of the 4
Yeah, Chelsea actually supported them because they want to do the same thing that City did and break the rules.
Yeah, Everton also supported City, the team that got deductions. So
because they did that and they got deductions.
I think there was one other one that supported us. I don't
Newcastle,
there we go.
because then Newcastle has the richest owners in any single sport. So they just want to pump money in too.
Of course. Well, that's pretty funny, man. I'm glad we won the vote. You know, no no relegation yet for City. That would be a travesty, considering they're the best team in the world. But
Nah, I don't know about that. Rodri's hurt.
Yeah, I know. I don't have much else to talk about for soccer here, buddy. I think there was an international.
No, I didn't want to talk. I
International
don't really
break,
want to
right?
talk
So
about it. I
there's
think
not that much to talk about. Thank you so much to Greg Ross for hopping on with us today. Excellent interview. He gave us a ton of insight, into the league and the changing landscape of junior hockey and what it really took to get a team to Poco and get it established there. So, Joe, you got anything else to finish on for everyone here?
No, I don't think so. I think good interview. Had to push through today, but we got the job done, and looking forward to some more.
For sure, buddy. Well, as always, be sure to listen to every episode, download them, rate them, like and follow on all our social media. We've been posting reels, we've been posting clips. We're gonna have lots more content coming out. So subscribe to the YouTube as well, and just keep following along for more. Thank you all so much for listening.